Hey guys, how many times have you bought a CBD product at a gas station or liquor store, only to find out it was complete trash? There's so many CBD products on the market now, it's hard to tell snake oil from CBD oil. Let me tell you about Canary CBD. These guys are super legit. All their products are 100% traceable, naturally vegan, gluten-free, have zero pesticides, grown and manufactured right here in the USA, baby. They have all of their lab certificates available on their website and via a QR code on all their products. Not only is Canary transparent and legit as fuck, their shit is tasty. Check out their website at www.canarycbd.com. That's CANARICBD.com. Use code BADETIQUETTE15 for 15% off your first order. Again, that's CANARICBD.com. You can follow on Instagram and Facebook at CBD Canary or Twitter at Canary CBD.
Is it some devil that crawls inside of you?
At a stoplight, and there's this truck next to me, and I couldn't see the passenger, and I was like, I don't know if you when I'm pulling up to a car and then they're just behind me and I can't see who's driving, it kind of creeps me out. I'm like, who the fuck's over there? Maybe it's a fucking celebrity, in a shitty Ford Ranger, of course. But no, and I looked over and it was these two chicks, and they were I think they were checking me out. I made eye contact for 5 or 10 seconds, not that. Okay, that'd
prolonged eye contact.
Yeah, prolonged eye contact, and I was like, Jesus, must be the dirty forerunner,
I get weird when I don't have a car, so I get weird when I have to cross a street.
Yeah.
And then a car pulls up, and I'll wait there, you can just go, it's fine. But then they insist that I go first.
Oh, it's like you can kill me. Go.
Yeah, I'll walk behind them. I don't go right here on Walnut, or is it the one right before Walnut? Whatever's right there. I went to the post office the other day, and I was walking back. It's a block away, whatever. And this car pulls up, and I just started walking behind them, and then the lady beeped, and I looked around. She's all, and then drove away. Put her hand up in the air, what the fuck was that? Why didn't you just cross the street? Because I walked behind her car. I'm like,
because you're less
gives a shit.
You're less likely to reverse and hit me. I definitely know where you're going. It's straight, bitch.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't like crossing the street when there's cars, which you have to do if you walk. I walk to work and stuff, and it's because they just look at you. They're looking at you, and you're like, what are these people thinking?
Not fun. Not a fan.
Not fun.
But yeah, and then I just went into the bathroom and I looked in the mirror and I saw my funny strands of hair sticking out of my hat, and I was like, oh, I think those girls were just laughing at me and looking at what a dork I looked like. Yeah,
I feel like that a lot sometimes.
That's ridiculous. I tried to take a picture of you outside because of how handsome you look.
Oh, well, thank you.
Seriously, you have beard genetics out your ass. That's great.
That's funny you say that, because I was actually just getting ready to trim it. This is the longest it's ever been. You can trim it.
It's still going to look good.
But I'm not going to get rid of it.
Yeah, don't get rid of it. It looks great. I think if someone can grow a beard, you got to have a beard.
Yeah.
I can't, so I just have the mustache.
The mustache looks good, though. I think you should keep the mustache and the little libre thing, too.
Thank you. Yeah, Kylie hates it. She hates the little soul patch. Yeah.
Soul patch, that's what it is, yeah.
But honestly, it looks, I think it just completes the mustache look.
Yeah. Well, you also have the jawline. If I grew a mustache, I'd look like a fucking creep. But
I look like a creep.
I think you look good.
But some people still think I look like a creep.
I do have pictures where I just had a mustache, but I have a real thin, dinky mustache. But I always do whenever I shave my face, which is usually on accident. I'll go trim my beard and it's the wrong guard, and it's gone. I'm sick.
Been there.
I'll just do I'll go do a goatee. Or I'll just do a mustache. Or I'll just do whatever the fuck the chin thing is. You know, just fucking around with it and then take pictures because it looks silly. And then I just shave it all off. And every time I do that, I have one or two friends, if I have a mustache, they're like, you have to keep the mustache.
Yeah,
and then I'll keep it for like one day. And I'm like, nope.
People are fucking such big fans of mustaches. It's hilarious. I feel like people talk to me with more respect when I have a mustache.
Which is funny because people hated the mustache for years.
For years.
The mustache fell off hard.
I'll tell you one thing, though. Still to this day, even with the long like handlebars and everything I have on here, I still get people that are like, nice 70s porn stash.
And then you should be like, damn right.
You know what? That's what I used to say.
Golden age of pornography.
But also, I think right now is the golden age of pornography. You can just fucking find it anywhere. It's
so readily avavel.
So readily available.
Check it out. We've been talking for 5 minutes and we're already on pornography.
It didn't take long. But like, has no one ever seen 70s porn? Their mustaches don't look like this.
Now that I think about it, if I ever stumbled onto any of that weird vintage pornography, I don't really think I'm paying attention to the mustache. So I don't know.
That's fair.
Think about that.
If anything, I'm just trying to determine which bushel of pubes belongs to the woman, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It makes me think about when the razor blade was really invented. I think about Tom Selleck when I see the mustache.
Oh,
like
yeah.
A Magnum PI.
Yeah, you got
sure.
fucking king mustache shit.
King mustache. I like that. That should be your fucking Instagram
King
handle.
mustache?
Yeah.
That'd be funny. I would never change the Night of the Giving Head, though. That
one's really good.
It's a classic. I've had it for like almost 10 years.
Mine, my Xbox gamer tag is Bone Depot.
Bones.
I got that from a Ron White special. I was like, that's perfect. I'm stealing that.
Ron White is one of my personal heroes.
Oh, he's so funny.
Have you seen
it? I don't know if it's his most recent comedy special.
On Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite part is when he's talking about he was in the Navy.
Yeah.
There's this 1 mile stretch in the middle of Hawaii where you can go get a blowjob from a prostitute for $5 and you take him around the block and then you kick him out. I went there twice a day, every day for 8 months. He's like, years later, I'm watching a documentary talking about she-male prostitutes at a 1 mile stretch in Hawaii. I got my dick sucked by 180 dudes? What's the record? I've learned to recite that because I think that's so fucking... That's just a gold part of that special.
Dude, that's my favorite joke. He told that story on a podcast once, and I couldn't fucking believe it because, like, he wasn't even using it in his act or, like... And it was on Rogan's podcast, and he was like, you gotta tell the story. And...
It's so fucking funny. And it's the way that it hits the way a good joke should, because he'll deliver the punchline and then he says, what's the record? Like, he's proud of it. And I'm like, that just ties the whole thing together. So funny.
You gotta be so fucking cool of a straight guy to learn years later that you've had 180 guys suck your dick.
Every day, twice a day for 8 months.
Now, I've never had my dick sucked by a guy that I'm aware of. Well, he wasn't aware of it. You know, I don't know. There's
right.
some,
Go on.
I've hooked up with some ugly bitches, man.
Some questionable.
Yeah, they could have just been okay looking dudes.
Okay, go on. You got my attention.
I can't imagine anyone would be better at sucking a dick than a person who has a dick. Because they're like, I know exactly what it should feel like.
Yeah, you already understand it, you know.
Yeah, because, like, that's why lesbian porn exists. Girls are like, we know to. That's how I learned how to know what to do with, like, a woman.
Yeah.
Is watching lesbian porn when I was a teenager. Because I was, like, so homophobic. I was like, I'm not going to watch anything with a dick in it.
Oh,
you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
And now sometimes I'm like, oh, they're actually, I'll be watching porn and I'll realize, I think this is just gay porn, Dallas. I've become too open-minded.
I think, I don't know, it can't be that pleasant of an act to do.
Just think about, like...
That must suck. That must suck.
You ever have a lollipop, you can't stand, like, you're sick of? Like, by the time you're done with it, your tongue's, like, sore and, like...
And you're like, why am I still doing this?
You have, like, bumps in your mouth and shit. That might just be the herpes I have, but...
Maybe that's just me. No, I don't know. Like, in the spirit of fellatio, I mean, it's great when it happens, but I'm sure that women or men probably don't even really enjoy probably doing it either. It's more of a favor thing, I think. I don't know.
It's a favor?
I don't think, I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I wouldn't, this sounds terrible.
Good.
I wouldn't suck me off. So you gotta understand.
I know immediately when like it's a good time or a bad time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You ever opened your phone camera on accident when you have your phone in your lap? That's not fun. I mean, that can't be. I look like fucking who's the little goat guy in Hercules?
Oh, the satyr, fucking
in the cartoon.
Danny
I mean,
DeVito.
yeah, like the guy who played. Probably look like that from that angle, and probably super demanding too. So, holy shit! Off to a good start.
Off to a great start. But like, there are certain times of the day where I'm like, there's no way. Fantasy, like land type stuff, like porn, like. Fiction.
Yeah,
like,
it's fiction.
Man, what if I have a really hot UPS delivery girl show up and she wants to suck my dick? Now's not a good time.
Let's paint the setting like it's like
cum.
She comes she comes to the door and she's like, "Hey, I need you got to sign for this package." And you're like, "I don't got a pen," and neither does she. Therefore, you then have to compromise with your penis. I don't know.
First of all, as someone who worked for UPS for a couple of weeks once, a woman driver shows up to your door without a pen is got to be the worst fucking delivery driver they have. You got to get the fuck out of here.
Real.
That, of course, that's why you can't have a woman delivery driver. I've never seen a UPS woman delivery driver.
I've seen a few.
You've seen a few?
I have seen a few. I've seen a few. But
do they have to wear the shorts?
They wear the pants.
What the hell is that about?
They wear the long pants. And that's, I mean, I could be wrong, but they wear the long pants. I know the dudes wear the short shorts, so you would think that the women could wear the short shorts, but they do not. I'm sure some of them wear shorts.
They'd be getting some extra packages, I tell you what.
But like, what if you're working in like Tucson, Arizona, and it's like 112 outside? You're probably not going to want to wear the pants.
Probably not.
So just, I don't know. Who knows? But I think I've seen a few where they're wearing the long and they're baggy pants, which has to suck, But
I'm not a fan. I think you should be able to wear whichever you want. And I don't know. You know what? I had a UPS driver on the last podcast I recorded. Mm-hmm. My friend Ben. I didn't even ask him about this. Different strokes.
Mm-hmm. It's a trip. We're over here talking. This went from pornography to delivering packages.
It devolved. Devolved. It went from the end. Well,
look, we could say that both those things still have in common. They have something in common because packages are still being delivered.
That's true. I love the finger. Yeah.
Oh man.
But and then there's other days when I'm like, God, I'm clean, I'm shaven, I'm manscaped.
Yeah,
this dick is made for sucking. And then it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and then there's none of that going around. I'm at the point where I am so single that I don't even want to touch my shit that I got going on, which is fine. I don't know, like I'm going through this. I'm calling it a phase of rightful selfishness. Because it's
called self-improvement. You're allowed to have that. I encourage it amongst all my friends, especially men, because they kill themselves more.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for sure. That's been a thing a lot, and especially in our town in the past couple of years, was dealing with a lot of that. I've known a lot of people some that were actually very close to me, which sucks. When was the last time we got together? December of
2019.
2019
might have been the end of 2019, December of 2019, because Arguing with Myself hadn't come out yet. It was about to be released, and I think you released that in February.
I put the album out in October of 2020.
Okay, so but the single. That's right.
I think it was like 2018.
No,
It
because
had to have been because
2018.
I was still living in Lompoc.
Okay.
Because in 2019 I was living in Mission Hills.
Well, let me see here.
It's been like 2 years now already.
No, that can't be right. I gotta look it up now. You're fucking tripping me out.
I think so. I think
It's been a fucking long while. That's for sure. But I'm also so happy to have you back. For those of you,
absolutely.
For those of you just now tuning in or just finding out, Brett Ryan Lietz has been on the podcast before, and he's a wonderful man. And if you want to catch up or have anything that we're going to connect to or understand the references, you can go back to the first one. It's number not loading here. Come on. What is the fuck is up with the Central Coast? There is no...
What was it called? A short fight ensued. I think that was the episode name.
I think it was. No, wait.
I can't remember when. I'm looking at Spotify. I'm looking at when it was uploaded on Spotify, and I know that I think this might have been...
Damn, I cannot... Oh, man. I forgot I moved to San Diego for a fucking year. That's a whole life.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember at all when that came out. Short.
Damn, have you ever actually been on my podcast? I can't find it.
No, I definitely was. I
know. I'm
you motherfucker. Either way, I'm pretty sure that this happened.
There you are.
In 2018. I might be wrong though. I don't know.
A short fight ensued with Brett Ryan Lietz. Oh, I remember because you gave me this excellent photo. Look, you have a bottle of Jack Daniels in your hand. Looks like there's a U-Haul.
Okay, you're right. It was December 17th, 2019.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, that was right. What a weird time.
Dang, we talked about Mike Patton. I had no idea.
We talked about Mr. Bungle and Faith No More.
Yeah. Everything he touches turns to gold. He's amazing.
Oh, yeah. I love Faith No More. I also still love the Red Hot Chili Peppers as well. They're putting out a new album That's how we got on it. They're putting out a new album with John Frusciante. He came back.
Their old
finally.
Guitarist.
Yeah, like the one where all the hits came from.
Oh, yeah.
So, what a strange time. I mean, you never really...
over a year. That's pretty fucking cool to have you back.
Yeah, and you never really think about how things can change in just that amount of time, because it doesn't seem like that long.
It doesn't seem like that long.
But it was. That was almost 2 years ago now. Coming up in a few months. That's
Dude,
2
I
years
can't believe
ago.
it's been almost 2 years. I feel like I just had you on, and I'm like, when I have repeat guests, sometimes I worry that people are annoyed that they're back so soon.
No. This was 2 years ago. I think I was asking to come back sooner than that.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I
had
really
just said it's a good time hanging out,
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't suck this time.
Well, I'm enjoying myself so far, and it's also just good to see you. I've always liked talking to you. You're an interesting person.
Thank you.
So
that means a lot.
There's but I think back at that time period of when I was on the podcast before, it's like, dude, fucking from. So I went on the podcast and we were talking about how I was putting out new music, or I was getting ready to.
Yeah.
And I was talking about booking solo shows. And then I had said some things about Yearbooks.
Yeah.
And really...
Yearbooks, the band you were in with your brother.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't really... I only listened back to the podcast, I think, maybe once. I don't think I listened to everything we talked about, but...
I'm surprised every time people listen to their own episodes.
Yeah.
Like, I've been on a podcast once and I didn't listen. I was like, I went through it. I talked about it. I never went back and listened to it.
I listened to bits and pieces, but I know that I was like scrolling through going through the timestamp or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I got on the Yearbooks thing. And here's the thing, not like I'm trying to make up for anything I said then. I think I said some things that were a bit questionable to my character during that topic. Maybe not. I don't know, but...
Talk to me. What are you trying to say here?
So, at that point in my life, I was drinking a lot. Like a lot. And it was only getting worse. And
yeah, drinking a lot usually doesn't end up being better.
And so it was like from December to January, February, March, this is when we're leading into the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So like this was when December of 2019 is when COVID stuff started happening in China, but
Yeah.
like it hadn't really been majorly publicized yet. At that time, there was still no understanding.
Yeah, we were
that anything
hearing
was
about it. It was
happening.
still called coronavirus. Yeah,
And I was getting fucking trashed like every day.
every day.
And I'm surprised I was sober for that. And I'm pretty sure I talked about bringing whiskey or something.
I think you might have mentioned it. Yeah,
But I mean, I was getting wrecked like every day.
maybe I talked you out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the one thing I know the one thing that I said before the podcast was like, I don't want to talk about drinking. I think that
Really?
was the one thing I said is, I don't want to talk about my drinking or my relationships.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I don't remember the drinking. That's fucking funny.
But I think I did end up talking a little bit about it. But anyway,
I let people express themselves. You know,
as of today, I am 99 days sober.
99 days sober.
Tomorrow is 100
Dude,
days.
what? High five. That's fucking awesome.
Which is the longest. Thank you. I appreciate it. It was the longest I've ever gone since I started drinking. And it's weird. It's weird. And it's weird in the sense that, like, that I used alcohol. Like, that was a big part of who I am, was just partying and drinking. And that's how I made friends. That's how I was able to perform. That's how I wrote songs about it. Like, that was, it's just, I thought I was so rad. Like, I just thought I was a cool guy. But then I, like, look back in hindsight and I'm like, man, I just wasn't very cool. Like, you know,
that's not what made you cool. You're cool. It was just an accessory to you.
I thought I was just a rad guy to get drunk with and hang out with. But then I just figured out, I was like, man, that's all I do now is just get drunk. So leading into what I was saying about yearbooks, it's like during that time, like if I don't recall what I said, but I'm sure I said something negative. I had really like no right to talk because at the time I was right when we did that podcast, we had just gotten back from a tour, which I think was our last tour that we did. And I was trashed for, like, I was getting drunk every day.
Yeah.
And I have insomnia. So like sleeping on tour was shitty. So therefore I'd be exhausted and drunk.
That's the worst. And drinking actually exacerbates your sleep, your bad sleep. Like your
Since I quit drinking, I've been able to sleep fine.
You sleep good now?
Yeah.
What other things you noticed since you quit drinking?
Well, I mean, you do get that clear-mindedness to a degree. I mean, I'm still very early on, but
I mean, dude, that's three. No, what is that? That's three.
It's over 3 months. 3 months, yeah. And like, I don't go to meetings or like
you don't have
AA
to.
programs, but I do have some sober people that I talk to when temptation starts.
You're like quote
getting
unquote
at me,
sponsor, you know?
Yeah, because here's the thing. Like my thing is I would make an excuse. My excuse for drinking was I do it to have fun. I'm not doing it for any other reason than that. I'm not doing it to suppress my emotions. I'm not doing it to run from anything. I do it because it's fun, you know, and everybody likes to have fun. But it's kind of hard to feel anything when you're having fun all the time. So
Yeah.
I've been more in touch with like my emotions, for better and for worse. You know, I've been, I'm okay with talking about it now, but like I've been in I am in my own process with recovery. Like I started going to therapy, and
Really?
and I go to a psychiatrist
That's so
as
cool.
well.
I've been wanting to do that for a long time.
Oh, there's no shame in that game at all.
Not at all.
No, not at all. Like, and that was, I started therapy before I quit drinking. Like that was something that was one of the first emotions that could put in mind. And my therapist told me
Yeah.
that, if I'm not clear of mind, therapy is going to not really take hold very well.
Yeah.
And that I still kept drinking. And the thing is that I was like lying about how much I was drinking.
Of course.
Going out
We all.
once or twice a week. But
I
it's
don't
like
think-
I'm going out every night.
I don't think I've ever genuinely told someone how much I've actually drank unless it was like an actual innocuous amount. Like if I said, I had one beer, it's because I only got to one beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I don't have any issue at all with people drinking. You know, I have an issue with people drinking and driving, you know, but and other things that go along with it. But like, I'm not gonna like not hang out with people or not go somewhere just because people are drinking. Now, does it get hard to do that? Yeah. You know, I'm not like, I went to the Sham the other night for karaoke right after practice. And
really? Yeah. I just missed you.
Oh yeah, I got there at like probably like 10:30.
I was way gone by then.
Yeah, I was only there for about 45 minutes, but I stopped by and said hi to some friends. I sang "Easy" by the Commodores because that's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
Just went and sang one song, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave.
Fucking Faith No More has a great cover
of that. Exactly. Yeah. That's how I first heard that song. Was actually that version. And my favorite part is right before the guitar solo. Mike goes, "Ew," and that's like my favorite part of the song. And I do that when I do the because I'll play that. I'll play that at my shows too.
When I first started hanging out with you was years ago, and it was going to karaoke at Burrito Loco or whatever the Mexican restaurant.
Taco Roco.
Is it Taco?
I think Loco? It was
maybe it was Taco Roco.
Taco Roco, I think.
So it's where Floriano's is moving across the street, and they used to have karaoke, and you were so fucking good. And I remember at one point we were there with like, I think,
like Tim and
Haley and Dakota was there.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
I was fucking hammered for that too,
dude. And I remember you just screaming into the mic at one point.
I did Monkey Wrench by Foo Fighters.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's that whole scream section.
Yeah. I remember the look on people's faces. It was so much fun. I was like, I fucking love this guy. I was so
embarrassed after that.
That's ridiculous. And that was just the beginnings of finding out what an incredibly talented musician you are.
Well, thank you. I remember a lot of that time, like, we spent skateboarding in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. And, like, watching VHS videos, and I was stealing your mom's cigarettes. And
yeah, fucking A.
I think about that time, like that was, fuck man, I think I was 17 when I moved out of my home, and
I must have been about 18.
I think you had just turned 18.
How old are you now?
When's your birthday?
95.
95. What month?
April.
Yeah, you're barely older than me. I got August.
Yeah. Okay. So 17, 18. Wow, that was crazy.
I moved out I think I moved out a few weeks before I turned 18. But I mean, like, I was not working. I wasn't working. I was just like smoking pot, playing in a band, crashing at Haley's house.
Fucking dream right there.
Just like skateboarding and like not doing whatever, like not really doing too much. And it was fun. I remember Haley made me a birthday cake on my 18th birthday.
I think I remember.
You might have been there. And then she bought me a pack of cigarettes.
Oh, that's back when you could buy them at 18.
Yeah, back when you were able to buy them at 18.
That's hilarious. And now, I think, so ironically, is it 21 for like the whole country for cigarettes now?
I think so. I think that's the federal age now.
I feel like kids vape and smoke now more than ever because all of a sudden,
especially vaping.
Oh yeah,
fuck man,
like those puff bars, they're fucking addicting. They're so much fun.
Oh yeah, I can't do it. Like, what's weird is that like I was vaping for a while.
So I've heard.
Yeah, I was vaping for a while. And I was like drinking a whole bunch, so I'd only smoke when I was drinking, which was like every night. So it's like I didn't even quit smoking in the fucking first place.
That's my favorite line.
I only drink when I smoke, and or smoke when whatever. Either way works. But then I quit drinking, and then now I can't stop with the fucking cigarettes, man. Like, anyway, so I'm veering off here.
That's okay. Talk to me. Just veer off. There's no rhyme or reason to this show. I'm just here with my friend Brett, and I want to talk.
Same. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to give the rundown on how things have been. So it's like from early 2020, I was working at the brewery at Solving Brew.
Yeah, which is going to open back up soon, I heard.
I have no idea. The last thing I heard from them was file for unemployment because of the pandemic.
I remember. I remember you saying that at one point. And then I had to file for unemployment like later, like just like the next
weird.
day.
It was so weird. So January, February, that whole area of time, early 2020, like I was going out every night and partying every night and not just drinking, it's just like getting fucked off into like oblivion, just like not on a good path, and I wasn't making a lot of money and hanging out with other people.
It's hard to be an entrepreneur when you
That's so
drunk
hard.
a lot.
So hard to carry this talent.
I'd imagine.
No. So like February rolls around, right? And I was working at the Brew Co. still, and I was getting ready to get a job at a dispensary.
Yeah.
And yeah, and Yearbooks played our last show in Lompoc in February, on February 22nd, 2020. And I only remember that date because that's the date of one of my favorite Nirvana concerts. So for some reason I remember that date. And I don't know how it happened, but I got so fucking drunk that I don't even remember playing the show. So we had a band called Saturday from LA come up, and they're a great band, and they were playing the show. And we met all at Sushi Terry, right? Because we were playing at Stages. Mm-hmm. And Stages is a small venue in Lompoc. And so we were there, and I met with a friend of mine.
Yeah.
He was buying sake bombs, and they do the big beer there.
Oh yeah.
So
I didn't know they did sake bombs there.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah.
That was my first underage drinking in a restaurant
and
experience.
It's like the Stein.
Yep.
Like, yeah, fucking. And I go and I'm playing the show, and I took a picture with a friend of mine. Well, I'll send it to you. We'll have to use it as the photo for this fucking one. My face is so red. My hair is blonde. I have this weird smile on my face, and I'm just fucking cooking. And then before the show, which I showed up late to, and missed like the first two bands. And I was drinking at Sushi Terry. Then we'd gone to the Sham. Then a friend of mine shows up with a bottle of tequila in the parking lot, and I'm just completely fucked. And the last thing I remember was, Stages has these like white lights. At least I think they do. And I felt like I could see these white lights. Like I can't see shit. And I'm trying to tune my guitar, and I'm looking at my tuner pedal. And then I lost everything after that.
That was your last.
That was my last show with Yearbooks in town. And so I was just drinking a shit ton, and we played our last show on like fucking, when did everything shut down? Do you remember the date? March 14th, something like that? Yeah,
March 9th.
So like we played a show like the weekend right before in Pomona.
Yeah.
And it was weird because now people were actually starting to come to Yearbook shows. And something so strange happened. So like I wasn't drinking for this one, but I started wearing a mask. Mm-hmm. And this is before everyone started like really wearing a mask. This is when they were encouraging restaurant workers to start wearing a mask. And
I don't even remember that. Wow.
That was the first time I'd wore a mask. It was like that night.
I remember the first time I put a bandana on and I went outside, and remember that time of the year, it was super rainy and stormy and
gloomy and shitty.
And dude, the streets were fucking empty. I never felt more like Mad Max in my life. Like I was like, every time I went to it completely changed the way I carry myself and what I carry with me at all times. And like, I feel so much more prepared for shit to go down in such a new way.
I was fucking terrified. Like I was one of those people that really let the fear get to me. I was fucking terrified.
I was honestly, it couldn't have been happier, and I was so excited.
Like I get to fucking stay away from people, and
it was that was like a cool it was fine. Honestly, some of the happiest I've
There's some good times during that first lockdown.
The first fucking good times. I'd say the first 2 months might have been the happiest I've been as an adult by myself.
See, that's a trip because I was like the opposite.
That's so cool to know that one of us is wrong.
There was, what I'm trying to say, this big picture is like there was so much stuff getting ready to change right at the beginning of last year. Yeah. And I was starting to become aware of it. Now, like after that show, that was our last show. And because it was like during the week.
Middle of the week.
It was
weekday,
Tuesday or something. Mm-hmm. And it was like 3 days later. It was cloudy as shit. It had been raining.
Yeah.
It's like the only time it fucking rains in this place is like February. or March. And I got to work, and we started hearing, now this is when it starts playing on TV. Yeah. And this was the day that sports was canceled.
Oh.
Or football and basketball NBA, got canceled right before. One of them got canceled right before. And so I showed up to work, and my boss goes, I showed up to work and the doors are closed and everything's locked.
Oh.
And I think it was a Wednesday. It had to have been like a Tuesday or Wednesday, because I would go and do the night shift. I'd show up at like 4 PM. And my boss texts us and goes, I text her, I'm like, what's going on? Yeah. Are you here? And she's all, yeah, we're not opening today. And I'm like, why? And she's like,
fucking notice would be
because of the coronavirus. And it was like the day before they started confirming cases in Santa Barbara County.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and then from that point on, shit just got fucking weird. Like, I remember like the same day, me and Andy we were getting gas or something at Circle K, and somebody had posted on Lompoc Valley Neighborhood Watch a screenshot from some other neighborhood watch app called like Nextdoor or something like that. And this lady posts this incredibly cryptic post on there that says, just wanted to get everyone a heads up. Me and my husband have traveled out of the country by airplane twice in the last month, and we both have upper respiratory infections.
Whoa.
Referring to the fact that they have COVID.
Yeah. And
that they were in Lompoc and they had COVID.
Whoa.
And then after that, shit just got really gnarly really fast. Like it seemed like it was within a week everything was done.
Everything closed. People stopped going out. If you went to the store to grocery shop, you had to have they weren't even enforcing masks because people were so were so terrified that they were just wearing it on their own anyways.
Yeah.
They were like already ready.
And
people would leave the aisle. If you went down it, they would just fucking leave.
Yeah.
It was heaven.
Yeah.
I loved it. So
yeah, and so that's a good contrast for this conversation, is because like I was worried because my whole well-being and part of how I make money in my career is music.
Yeah.
So when shows started getting canceled and venues started closing, I was like, holy shit, I'm done. I'm screwed. I'm fucked. And I lived with other people. I had like 4 roommates.
Yeah.
So one of them he's much older. I think he's almost 60, but he was older.
Yeah.
And so he was super cautious about
of course
where you go and who you're around and disinfecting things. And
I remember that, putting fucking hand sanitizer on your.
This is right when you couldn't buy toilet paper anymore. This was like
couldn't buy toilet paper.
Like the end of March, you couldn't buy toilet paper and you couldn't buy hand sanitizer or bleach.
Can you fucking believe how ridiculous it's gotten? First of all, it started ridiculous and it's still in a whole nother genre of ridiculous right now.
Right.
Oh, it's so fucking annoying.
I remember being much more frightened in the beginning than I am now. Like, I didn't leave my house at all. Like, I would have alcohol delivered to my house. I would have food delivered to my house. I did not leave my house.
I didn't
for about 2 months.
I didn't get anything delivered. I just went ahead and...
Or I would go to the liquor store in Mission Hills and buy alcohol, but that was it. And then I would wear gloves and a mask, and then I would disinfect the bottles and then drink them. And shit like that. Just completely just fucking fear-mongered. And
I gotta tell you something. I gotta admit to you something. Everyone was so hell-bent on washing their hands during all this that when I would go to the bathroom to take a piss, I would tell people I wash my hands after.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was lying.
Fucking awesome.
Kylie would text me.
The delivery on that was perfect, by the way. I did not.
Kylie would text me and like make sure I was doing this or that because she was super cautious about it, and I was like, I'm home alone. Like, I don't care, you know.
Right.
It was so I was like, I was in a better position to be like comfortable and happy, and it was really cool. I got drunk every day for 78 days and fucking watched the Michael Jordan documentary and binge watched The Sopranos, which I still haven't finished. No spoilers. I know how it ends.
I need
but
to
just
watch
don't tell
that.
me
I haven't
anything.
seen it yet. I need to watch the whole thing.
It's terrific. And I did yoga and ate Pop-Tarts and got a little chubbier and like grew long ass hair. It was terrific.
Yeah.
It was great.
I mean, there were some sweet moments when lockdown like came about and all that. But
how about that unemployment money, dude? I just fucking sat there and got a couple grand.
that was the most money I've ever had in my life.
Most money I've ever had in my life.
Because
which is so funny because if they didn't take that money out of my taxes, I would have also had that much money a long time ago.
Yeah, for real. So, but because like when I filed for unemployment, it was like it'd been like a month after I'd lost my job at the Bruco. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why I waited that long, but they retroactively paid me. So $3,100 hit my bank account when I thought it was only going to be like $1,200, and I was like, so I bought all my recording studio gear with that.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Then I blew it all.
I feel like I had. Oh, you know what I did? I moved. That's what I did with the money. I was like, I don't know where all that money went because I got to tell you, I don't have anything new.
Yeah, I was able to buy all my stuff. Recording.
I bought a new skateboard, but that's
cool.
like.
You still skateboarding a lot?
Not a lot, but I still skate. Here's how little I skate. I don't wear skate shoes anymore.
Oh yeah, for real. I only wear skate shoes and I don't skate at all.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I would fucking never be caught
boots.
without. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm turning into a fucking hick. It's so funny.
Do you tuck your shirt in ever?
No, I still.
I'm almost there.
Yeah, almost there. I got to do some more sit-ups before I can fucking tuck.
Hey
my
man,
shirt
I got
in.
a gut that walks through the door before I do, and I still tuck my shirt in.
Hey man, that's
I
fine.
like it.
You do you. I like your style. Some people aren't comfortable with themselves, okay?
Same.
But yeah, dude, I'm turning into such a fucking hick. It's hilarious. I think it started happening like little, like by little, like not even like, I don't even know what to call it. Not a hick, not a redneck. I'm not a cowboy. I'm just like in that flavor.
You're just you.
I am just
You're
me.
just you.
And sometimes it looks like I'm a fucking redneck. Sometimes it looks like I was at a rally. I was at the Capitol on January 6th. And dude, it's ridiculous. Kylie calls me a Republican like once a week now. I'm like, no, stop. I was like, those pussies, they don't know anything about freedom.
Fucking. Geez.
But anyways, sorry if you're a Republican and you're listening to this. And you know,
Nobody knows anything. We're all gonna die. Who gives a shit?
But thanks for listening. I don't know what it is. It started happening when I thought I was going to move to Tennessee.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to move to Tennessee.
Understandably.
About 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So this was way before like the one was like, let's get the fuck out of California. It's a fucking shithole. There's homeless people shitting everywhere, and you can't afford property, and there's a housing crisis, and our governor's 2 million people said they don't want him, and he's still there, and
God.
and it's just like all kinds of things like that were not even happening yet.
Yeah.
Also, I think there was a whole different governor back then too. But
probably
I was going to move to Tennessee, and I was like starting in my head to like embrace like a different side of culture that I literally hated and thought was stupid. And I was like, country music sucks, and I fucking hate camo. So I was I opened my mind. And I drove across country with Kylie to go to Tennessee to see if we'd even want to move there.
Right.
And it was only 1 week, but it opened my mind so much to little things that I was denying I enjoyed.
It's a whole different feeling, huh? I feel the same thing about Idaho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
same kind of feeling.
dude. I would move to Idaho in a second.
Idaho
if
fucking
Brian
rules.
Dolan didn't live there.
Yeah, it's getting out of California rules. There's certain things about California that it's just unmatched, but there's a lot of bullshit.
It's the most diverse geographically.
Yeah.
It has everything. It has some nice beaches. I was going to say the best beaches, but I've never been to the Gulf of Mexico, so I really don't know.
I've been to San Diego. I like some of the beaches there.
love the beaches in San Diego.
You were living down there, right? That's where you moved. You've been to Pacific Beach and Ocean Beach and all that down there?
No, you know where I went was I was in North County. So I would be in like Oceanside, Carlsbad. I'd go to Pipes and things like that. And
I live in East County, so I was like...
Oh.
I lived in Southeast County, so like I lived...
El Cajon?
El Cajon, yeah.
Ah, right. Yeah.
That's 45 minutes from the border.
El Cajon. Dude, that's crazy. I can't believe I even remembered El Cajon.
El Cajon was gnarly.
I know. I've never been there. That's why.
But I will say this. If you want a really good burrito any time of day, it could be 2 in the fucking morning. There's like 100 places in El Cajon.
Dude, best Mexican food. Good. Best Mexican food I've had. You know what? Actually, I had this conversation with Kylie down there. We were all kind of thinking that we get better Mexican food up here.
I don't think so.
But
I disagree. It's all good. We live in California,
that's
so
true.
it's all
Believe
good.
Me, I know. We drove past this place in Tennessee, this Mexican restaurant, and it was literally like they had like it was like multicolored, like pastel colors. Like they still think Mexicans run around in sombreros with bandolier bullet belts on. It's hilarious. They have no idea what Mexicans are in Tennessee. It's fucking beautiful. But it sucks because then I can only eat barbecue and I can't eat al pastor, and that's not fun.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So,
but I will say, I love San Diego. If I can live anywhere in California, it'd be San Diego for sure. That's where I used to live. I was born there, but I don't know. So with everything being as straight, I mean, it's such a weird time, and it's really not like anything we've ever seen before. And maybe it's affecting like everybody. It's the whole world. But I do think to a degree, it's hard to know what to believe.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to get information, and it's like now it's
hard to get
vaccinated
information
versus unvaccinated. It's Republicans versus Democrats.
And it sucks because I don't want someone to be mad at me for getting vaccinated or think I love the government because of it. And I don't want someone to get mad at me for not getting vaccinated because maybe I don't, because they think I'm some like Klan member or some anti-vaxxer, or I don't believe in science. And here's how I feel about the whole vaccine issue. I think it's really intelligent and really a good instinct to want to do things that protect you from things that will hurt you and harm you and want to kill you.
Yeah.
I've had vaccines my whole life. I also believe that it's perfectly normal and intelligent and instinctual and a good idea to not want to put something that was created so swiftly into your body that we don't have a lot of information on the long-term effects of yet.
Right. And I
respect both people's places, and I don't think you should tell people not to get vaccinated, and I don't think you should tell people to get vaccinated. You can say whatever the fuck you want. I just don't think that there should be a government interference. There's no reason that there should be someone at my front door with a gun saying you have to do this.
Nobody should force you to do anything, is what I think.
As long as you're not hurting anybody, and I know what people are going to say, well, you're hurting yourself by getting COVID and spreading it. And it's like, well, you can get COVID with the vaccine too. So, point that fucking gun somewhere, or point that judgmental finger someone else. What's that? When you point a finger, or you got 3 pointing right back at you.
Yeah,
that fucking cornball Tennessee shit.
That's true.
I picked up on.
I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's weird. It was just the whole thing was so weird, and it caused me to make a lot of strange decisions, and just like it did with everybody. I mean, you don't really know. I'm a musician, so it's like when that was taken away, it felt like, okay, well, this is going to be for the greater good if people don't get together for things like this. Like, people don't get together for music. Mm-hmm. People aren't going to get sick that way. I'll just figure it out. I mean, like it was in March of 2020. I didn't get to play like my first shows until like this year, starting in like April or March. I didn't start that's when I started playing shows again. It was like an entire year.
There's only 3 months left in the year.
Right. I think I played one show at Southside Coffee outside and that was it. But it was so weird. And then it's like I got back into playing shows, but then you have this, like, I can't wait to play again. I can't wait to be around people. But then you're like, I don't want people to get sick. So like, what if somebody has it and they don't know it and they're here? They're going to get other people sick. You know. Well,
but it's a calculated risk you got to take.
Yeah, people know the risk they're taking.
When you go driving at night, someone might be a drunk. Yeah. They might be driving on the same road as you, and they might kill you. But you know you got to live your life. You know you got to get from point A to point B, and you can't let these fears and apprehensions stop you from living it.
And I think that's how more people are dealing with this now, because you have. I mean, it's definitely not the majority of people, but there's definitely people who, like, in my opinion, in my personal experience, I finally was like, okay, I'm gonna be safe and I'm gonna be respectful, but I'm not going to act like going outside or being around somebody is going to kill me. I'm not gonna act like, I'm not going to let this thing that everybody's worried about.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let it completely zap me of my life, because I let that happen for like 4 or 5 months. I didn't leave my house. I was around the same 4 people. I got drunk every day. I stopped writing songs. I quit Yearbooks during that. Like,
I was so shocked by that too. And then I felt almost guilty because we had that podcast where you spoke, like, I don't even know how to phrase it. Maybe, like in a place like a lack of confidence about the band.
Yeah, I was already kind of there, you know, at that time. But then that's good that you brought that up, because now it's bringing me back to what my initial point was in the first place about that. It's like,
bring it home.
I wasn't the easiest person to work with, you know. I was a drunk. I was broke. And I'm just overall, so, you know, I can be kind of hard to deal with, and I've been trying to fix that.
So how have you fixed it now? Because I feel like you're in quite a nice situation. I feel you have this terrific band now. Really great songs. I love hearing it. I love your covers.
It's called Good Grief, everybody.
That's right. Good Grief.
One word. Good Grief. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're going to be 100 days sober.
How do we make it this long into the podcast without me mentioning my band, like my new band, at all?
I don't know. You're too busy up your own fucking ass, Dallas, to let Brett talk.
No. I've been yapping my head off this whole time. So thank you.
Hey, well, you know what? That's what I'm trying to say is, like, you have so much, and us as humans, we're so much deeper than we give ourselves credit for. Mm-hmm. You haven't even gotten to your band. You haven't even gotten to your solo album.
Oh yeah. So
see? Whoa! Good thing I took the notes.
Dallas came prepared. So it's like with Yearbooks, like, you gotta understand, like, I was in that band for 7 years.
That's crazy.
And when I say 7 years, I mean that includes the iterations.
Was it really 7 years?
Yeah, I'm including before? The iteration, like the versions of the band, like before we had the formal name. The first band name for Yearbooks was called Hard Feelings. But then there was this band from, like, New Jersey that threatened to sue us because they had the same name, because they found us on Facebook. And, like, we had like 20 likes on Facebook and nobody knew who the fuck we were. And
I remember that bullshit.
Like, if you guys don't change your fucking band name, we're going to have to send you, like, a cease and desist or some shit. And we're like, whatever.
You know what? I'm going to find them.
I get it.
Keep talking. Yeah. I'm gonna. What was it? Was it hard? It was No Hard Feelings.
No, it's just Hard Feelings. I think. I
think it was No Hard Feelings, because I had this conversation with Tim. Keep talking.
Either way, I mean, good on those guys. I mean, whatever. But
and then
I ain't mad. And then it was Nothing But Hard Feelings. That's right.
Just to let those motherfuckers know.
Yeah, we still kept Hard Feelings, and now it's Nothing But Hard Feelings. But then,
fucking bitches.
Then we stopped playing for like a couple months, and then when we reformed, Kevin was like, okay, I'm gonna sing, and then you'll play guitar, and then Carlos is gonna do drums and whatever. And then I had wrote a song called Yearbooks that we were using for Nothing But Hard Feeling, and Kevin really liked the name of that, so we ended up making that the band name. And it worked because it was one compound word, and it it gave this sense of like adolescence, and it was pop punk, so it just kind of it definitely worked.
Immediately, it was a really appropriate name.
Yeah, it stuck. And then, so when I quit the band, like I was in the band for like 7 years, and I was like 17 when we started playing together, and April of 2020 came around, and I was trapped inside my house, and I felt like I was trapped inside my house, and I was drunk and insecure, and I was going through a breakup, and perpetually going through a fucking breakup that was happening for like 2 fucking years at that point, and or a year at that, whatever, just making mistakes, and we had been arguing a lot, and like I said, I was difficult. I was drunk all the time, like I really was like, couldn't really get a lot through to me, and I quit. I just, one day got in an argument. They wanted to record a song, like a single to put out.
Yeah.
But this was when you couldn't travel unless you had essential things.
I mean,
and going to record it now, like a single, isn't really considered essential. And I didn't want to go do it anyway because I didn't want to be around anyone that wasn't in my home.
You should have done what Bo Burnham did and just recorded it in your bedroom.
We're gonna get to that because I thought that was amazing.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, you should watch it because it's amazing.
I've seen parts of it, and I can tell. And he's won some.
It's not a comedy.
Already.
I'm not considering it a comedy.
I don't think it's a comedy at all.
But
I don't think Bo Burnham's funny.
I think he's talented.
He's very talented, and he is funny. But it also, if I'm looking for a laugh, I'm not watching Bo Burnham.
Yeah. I would call it more of a work of art than a comedy special.
Speaking of a work of art, I have to pull my dick out right now.
Yeah.
And go take a piss. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So,
you want to...
Nah, just keep talking.
Okay. I was hoping to go have a cigarette.
Oh, well, let's pause this, bitch. We'll come back.
Sweet.
I
just want to let everyone know that Dallas just used my bathroom, and he did not wash his hands.
Fuck, I didn't.
Which was my fault because I am out of soap. So if any of you are wondering,
he hasn't washed his hands. I don't wash my hands in my own home. Well, talk about being how single you are again.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking
I'm kidding.
evident.
Yeah, so you have a new band called Good Grief.
Yes.
And I saw them. Good Grief. So fucking good. Where'd the name come from?
It's actually a Foo Fighters song.
Really?
Yeah, so it's off their first record. And I was really listening to Foo Fighters a lot when I started writing some of the songs. And I just thought that was a cool saying. And nobody says it anymore. Everybody used to, like, good grief. Everybody would say that, like, back in the day, like, years ago, And Charlie Brown says it.
That's his name. I was sitting here trying to think
good
of the
grief.
Yeah. Good grief. Yeah.
And it's just, and the thing that's cool is, like, that was just the idea for the band name. So when I would tell people that it was called Good Grief, I always got a reaction, and people like, it's funny, I like that.
Yeah.
And it works out for a band. So
well, and it looks good.
Yeah, I think
on a flyer.
I think so.
Which is weird. It gives me like weird, like positive vibes when I see it.
Yeah.
It makes me, I don't know, something about it definitely like elicits something, and I think is the right choice.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So, Good Grief pretty like rose from when I quit Yearbooks, I didn't do anything for a long time. I wasn't writing songs for Good Grief. Like I was working on my solo record that I did, and then that was all I was focusing on. And then it wasn't until fucking September, so 6 months ago, I started writing songs for Good Grief. And
when did you guys play your first show?
In June. We played our first show in June. This show we're playing on next Saturday, not this Saturday, but the following, on the 25th, is going to be our 4th show. And we're opening for Yearbooks. So if anybody is into that, Yearbooks is playing our last show on September 25th at the Wicked Shamrock in Lompoc. So, but it's only our 4th show. It's our 4th gig, and we've already had... It's myself, and then it's my friend Miguel, who used to play in Yearbooks for a little while. Great guy, really great bass player, amazing taste in music.
Does Miguel have a last name?
Miguel Enciso.
Nice.
And then my friend Roland Barrera. He's been in some bands in the Central Coast. He was in a band called Into the Abyss for a long time with my friend Miguel.
I've heard
They were
that
in
name
the same
before.
band.
Yeah.
He also played in a band called Bubonic a long time ago. They were from, I think, Napomo. This is a long time ago.
Yeah, I used to live in Napomo. I grew up in Napomo.
Yeah.
Used to go
They used to play at Ripon
Rip,
a
yeah, I was
lot.
gonna say
Like
Ripon.
he was like living there for a
Yeah.
while, which is very punk rock.
Many people. You know what? Maybe I know him or like like through someone.
Yeah, I think so. I think you might have
I
been him before.
auditioned for a band at Ripon once.
Trip out for singer or what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you make a good front man.
That's
for sure.
I was told that for so long.
Yeah.
And then I did try and it went horrible.
Oh shit.
I was like, okay, I was just out of my element. These people, they were like on their second and third bands, and I was like,
Yeah.
I never got my first one to happen. So
Yeah. And then we got my friend Tank plays drums. He's pretty,
Tank, that's a great name.
Name's
Wait,
Tank.
do I know him?
Maybe he's a little bit older than us.
Tank. That's a
But,
good name.
Yeah, he's a great drummer. He's an amazing drummer.
You're a great drummer too, which
thank
is
you.
that's always the sign of a good musician. Is there a good drummer?
Yeah,
There's
Drums
good
are fun.
guitarists,
Drums
there's
are
good
my
singers,
favorite.
but you can drum and play guitar and sing so well. When you play guitar, it looks like you're like, whatever, I got this. Like you make it look so easy, and it's amazing.
Thank you.
That's how you know someone's good. When someone does something so well, it looks like majestic, or it looks like you could do it yourself.
Yeah.
Great sign of a great talent.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to
you.
kiss your ass here.
You're not
but
trying
I
to swing my dick.
maybe a little bit. Seriously, I just think people get a little too in their own heads, and sometimes they just need a little bit of encouragement. And sometimes I worry you can do that, and I just want to be your friend and always be like, hey, fucking you rock, literally.
Well, thank
So
you. Yeah, there's times where sometimes I regret the pursuing of what I've been doing, but for the most part, I know that I'd be completely miserable without it. So I think it's so important for people to do what makes them happy. My friend Sean made a good point to me. He's like, there's so many people that disregard art and music and shit like that as a way of living life and a means to make money and supporting yourself. But those people that have that opinion and work their 9-to-5 job and work just to work, they consume art in their free time. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so Good Grief. We're playing that show. We just finished recording our first album. It's called Walk All Over Me.
that's the name of a great AC/DC song, Walk All Over You.
Oh yeah, sweet. Yeah, so we got an album called Walk All Over Me. It's only 7 songs, but
Walk All Over Me sounds like a kink, and I'm here for it.
yeah, I'm all about it. So Walk All Over Me. We're gonna be doing a video
Oh yeah.
next month with Casey Farrow. And
Right on.
we're just trying to find a place to shoot it. I think we might do it at the Wine Factory, but we're gonna do
be cool.
green screens and kind of like a lo-fi deal, just
Right
to
on.
have fun with it and
yeah.
dress up. And
I'm excited. Which song are you doing it for?
it's gonna be for a song called Just Like You,
Just Like You?
which is gonna be the single. We're gonna do 2 singles.
A double.
One of which I'm gonna show you if you want after
I would love
this.
to. Yeah, please.
So that's what really I've been directing like a lot of my attention to, and it's so nice to be in a band with, first of all, people who've already established themselves as musicians, and kind of like we're all on the same page and the chemistry is good. We
Yeah,
all
you
get
have
along.
contemporaries,
Yeah, we all
yeah.
get along, and everybody's valued. In the band, everybody's very important. We have meetings once a month. And
That's really good, because I think a lot of the interpersonal politics of bands end up being a downfall of something. That,
when egos clash, it can be pretty damaging, I think.
Yeah.
So and it's it's a trip, because when Yearbooks first started, like we were writing songs together, but then after a while I just took the position of songwriter, so I would write a lot of the stuff, most of it, and then
how cool is that? God,
well, I mean,
what a fucking
what a great guy.
what a great guy.
Good grief. So it's cool with this band because we actually get together and work on songs. Like we have our first record coming out, and then we almost have enough songs to do another record.
Yeah. So that kind of story as far as bands go. Like Black Sabbath came out their first. I'm just wearing a Black Sabbath shirt, and I was listening to them on the way here, and I'm a big fucking fanboy. Yeah, they're all right.
They're okay. No big deal or anything.
Fucking Black Sabbath self-titled album, Paranoid, and Master of Reality all came out within 2 years, if not the first year. It's like, and they just had so many songs. I love nothing more than like the Melvins. They have 1 to 2 albums a year minimum,
and they only had one major label album, and that was Houdini.
Yeah, and
I'm pretty sure.
I think it was the only
Doors
major
put out 2 records in 1967 too. So it's like,
God damn,
it's crazy how fast bands can turn out material. I think
because sometimes they're just sitting on it, and sometimes like. Not that writing music is easy, but when you're creative and you can dominate that shit, it fascinates me.
Yeah.
It seriously, like, because I don't write jokes that often. I couldn't write an album of jokes and then have a new album of jokes,
Yeah. That's what's so impressive to me about comics versus musicians is that, first of all, it's a different thing, but... musicians, you could play stuff that spans your career over and over again, and people are stoked to hear it. If you're a comic, you have to tell new jokes every time.
Otherwise, you turn stale. There's like maybe 5 comics ever that can tell old jokes, and people are just as excited to hear them because they're like a phenomenon.
Yeah.
And
that's rare.
You got to be like Andrew Dice Clay. But still, if he only had like his old stuff, people would be like, oh, I'm kind of disappointed. I want to see some, some of this new stuff.
There's always and so it's a trip. And I mean, we have these new songs, but I mean, I don't know. They still got it. We're still working them out. But it's just the fact that it's nice to have creative spark from all ends. And on top of that, it's like we have like a routine down.
Nice.
We have our guitar tones all set. Like we have the tour van. We're about to make some merch. Like we're getting ready to like do the thing.
Sounds like a great plan of attack you have going on here.
Yeah, and I can only owe that to the people who are in the band because they have the same drive and understanding, and they're all so good at what they do that it really makes for a comfortable environment. And we communicate. We all talk every day. We all hang out. We when things have to get paid for, we do it all equally.
Yeah.
And, we communicate about everything. We put, like I said, we have a meeting once a month. We put stuff on the table. And, make plans. And so we're really trying to do, and I mean, like we take it very seriously. Like there's when the merch gets all printed, we're going to have inventory sheets and stuff like, we're going to have all this stuff that's going to be taken care of a certain way. And I only have to like, I owe that to Yearbooks because I learned so much in that band.
Yeah.
Stuff that I didn't really utilize when I was in the band because I was such a fucking, whatever. But I learned a lot being in that band. I also learned a lot about how not to be when you're playing in a band. And I'm talking about those guys. I'm talking about me. I learned to be more understanding and like listen more and put in the effort that I was allowing other people to do for me because I didn't give them an option, making myself try to be a better person and have a closer relationship with the people I play music with. And
it's so cool to see this like matured version of you and your, musical exports.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm trying. I mean, I quit drinking and I'm still dealing with a lot of shit and I'm still trying to rebuild myself and it gets very hard and I fuck up all the time. And, there's
that show you played just recently, with I think it was Eli Live's, comeback
grief.
show and everything. Dude, you guys fucking blew that shit out of the water.
Kylie came up to me after that show and she was like, hey, you guys sound great, but your Nirvana covers, and I thought she was I don't know what she was going to say. I was like, yeah, and she's all, it's not very often when people can actually nail Nirvana, but you guys do it so well. And I was like, thank you so much.
She was
like, holy
so
shit.
excited about it. She loves Nirvana. And
oh my God, I'm obsessed.
And I couldn't stop hearing how much she enjoyed it, and I was like, that's fucking cool. Because it would be awkward if she hated it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go over to Brett's.
Oh shit!
And she was like, oh, the one who sucks. Nirvana cover.
But
no, it's great.
Yeah, so that was cool. And the thing that's crazy about Good Grief is that the 2 shows we actually only played 2 shows. So this is gonna be our 3rd show. Now that I think about it,
I feel like I've seen that you in that band multiple times.
Yeah,
oddly enough,
it's weird. It's only been 2. We've only played 2 public performances. So it's
man.
like when. Like the first show that Good Grief
already feels established.
Yeah,
just saying.
Shit, for real. The Good Grief played our first show at the Sham in June.
Yeah.
And like I did the old school thing. Like not only did I did post it on social media, of course, and all that, but I went out and I printed flyers and I put flyers up around town. And when we showed up to play, there was like 100 fucking people there.
There's a lot of people there.
Crazy.
A lot of people there.
We were the only band that played, and we only had like 45 minutes of material.
Oh wait.
This was the first.
Where was this?
This was at the Sham. So we've only like the shows that we played have only been at the Sham because that's the only place to play around here right now.
Was I at the first show?
I don't know if you were at the first one. I know you guys were at the second one for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It was terrific. Alive fucking rock too. Those guys look like they haven't missed a beat. I couldn't believe that they've gone that long without playing a show. They said.
Yeah, it was like 2 years. I'm glad they were there too.
They sounded great. They looked great. They performed
rock.
Great. I couldn't believe it. It looked like a fucking layup for them.
Yeah. That was a good time for sure.
I know one of them's probably listening to this right now going like, because they've all asked to be or to do a podcast, and I want a podcast with them.
Yeah.
And
I'm very glad.
I've put it off
they came to
so
that show
many times, and I feel horrible. This is just me reaching out to say like, hey, like it's definitely going to happen. You guys are great. Thank you for being so kind and such, good listeners and good, friends on social media even.
Yeah, they made that show was nuts. People were jumping up and down, going ape shit for them. It was great.
That was the first time I've moshed in so long.
Oh yeah. No, that was. I'm very glad they played that show. It was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So this next show, it's like I have a good feeling there's going to be a decent, like a pretty big amount of people there, just because it's Yearbooks playing our last show and it's in Lompoc.
So it's Yearbooks and Good Grief's opening.
Yeah,
September 25th at the Wicked Shamrock Irish Surf Pub in Lompoc, California.
Yes, sir.
What time?
Good Grief goes on at 9.
Okay.
So Yearbooks will go on at 10. And Yearbooks is going to play probably till about 11:30.
Is there a cover charge at the door?
The show is free.
The show is
free show.
Fuck yeah, dude.
We'll be selling merch. Yearbooks will be selling merch, I think, at discounted. If we have it, it's while supplies last. So come buy a t-shirt or a hoodie or whatever. And then we're going to have cameras and stuff. We're trying to do like a video to do streaming.
Nice.
So people can watch it if you can't be here. And it's just gnarly because for me, it's emotional. Like we've gotten together and we've practiced twice now. And some of the guys I haven't seen in over a year. Shit, I haven't seen my brother in 6 months. He's been in the Army.
So is he back in town right now?
He's going to be back on Sunday or Saturday. So
he looks great. I'm so happy for him.
Dude,
I'm so right. I'm so impressed with him for joining the Army and everything.
Yeah, I talked to him for about an hour today before you got here. Nice. But he said the only thing he wanted to do is play a show.
That's beautiful.
You fucking got it, dude. So it was emotional for me going and just playing some of the songs. Right when we got together last week, it was our first practice in fucking over 2 years.
I can only imagine.
And I'm playing in the room with everybody, and it's so weird because it's like we got through our first song and I felt choked up. Like I was like, ooh, that's it's just one of those things where it's like I'm very happy that I got the chance to come back to at least do this one last show and to be around everybody. But it's also bittersweet because it's like this is how it's ending. Yeah, I didn't know how it was going to go if we would have stayed in it. If I would have stayed in it longer, or where we were headed in the future. But at the time when I quit the band, it just felt like that it was time to quit the band.
You know what this is though? It's the start of something really amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be an emotional night for
because
sure.
It's opening with your future, and it's closing with your past.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tied up in a nice bow. People don't get these kind of things in life. Yeah. They don't get stories that with good endings, they don't get punctuation and they don't get kinds of closure.
Yeah.
And when I see the position you're in, just from an outsider perspective that no one asked for, it looks to me, it would be emotional, but I would be so infinitely thankful for the opportunity for something like this in my life to happen so succinct or so direct. It seems like it was written to be the last show for that band, Yearbooks.
And the beginning of something new.
And the beginning of Good Grief, something new. And it just,
that's what's causing me to be emotional.
It sounds emotional.
There's so much emotion.
I can feel the emotion just sitting over here, just thinking about it.
Yeah, we're playing, like, Yearbooks is playing a song called Everest, which is the first single that we actually put out that we really promoted, and it was before we put out our first record. And I remember that was the first song that people would come and actually point their fingers and jump up and down and sing the words to, and that was my goal. The only goal I had playing in a band is I just wanted people to come to our shows and yell what we were singing to them right back at us. That was the only goal that we had. It's incredible how far we went, even if it's on a smaller scale. We weren't really shooting for anything crazy, but given the circumstances and how things panned out and things that we were able to do, I was really surprised, and I don't really think about the impact of that too much, but some of the shit that we did was pretty impressive. Like, we did sign to a record label, we did put out several records, or a few records. Like, we did the music videos, we did the Warped Tour competition, we did all this stuff, we got an alternative press, we got on Kerrang, we did all this shit, like, a lot of bands had done before, but, like, from Lompoc, we didn't have an expected goal of success, we just wanted to play for people. So the opportunities that I was given, and some of the best times of my life were in that band, but also a lot of, like, the worst times of my life coexisted with the best times of my life, if it makes sense.
It does.
The band was great. Playing in the band was great. Given that opportunity to travel and tour and do all that stuff was amazing. But it was also coexisting with, like, the worst, like, turmoil I was in. Drinking, terrible relationships, losing jobs, being homeless, going back and forth between all this shit. But I always had Yearbooks, so with that finally coming to, like, really putting a cap on it and putting it away, that's emotional. And we're playing, like I said, that song Everest, and I don't listen to that song. I don't really listen to Yearbooks anyway, but sometimes, like,
I don't listen to my podcasts.
Yeah. I listen to Good Grief, though. But when it comes to Yearbooks, it's like, it's hard to listen to some of those songs because I was so young when we did a lot. We were so young when we did a lot of that. I was 19 when we put out our first record. I was 19 when we went on our first tour. I was just young. It was a whole different world, and that was years ago. And that song Everest, I can't listen to it because it'll make me cry. Like, I'll choke up.
I'm gonna listen to it when I leave.
Yeah, that feeling, just for some reason, especially that single version of the song that's on YouTube. That doesn't sound great. It was before we really learned how to sing, but that was the first time I felt like the band had really come together. And so now that we're playing that song at the show, I'm probably gonna cry. And whatever. I'll be sweating too much. Nobody will be able to tell.
What's the backstory of Everest?
So Everest was the first song that we had collectively wrote after Nothing But Hard Feelings. Like, we had...
So it was the first real Yearbook song.
It was the first real Yearbook song that existed with another song called Long Term. Long Term and Everest came around the same time. And that's when we were like, okay, these are the new songs. They were the new songs. And Everest was the song that when we put it out as a single, first of all, everybody just felt really good about it. It felt
in
different.
The band.
Yeah, the band, and everybody had a good energy about it. It felt different than the other songs. Mm-hmm. And structure-wise, it was just... Me and Kevin wrote it on his couch in his apartment, and up until that point, like, Kevin would write the guitar parts on his own, and he'd write the singing on his own for, like, a lot of those early songs. Mm-hmm. and then I would come and do my thing to them. But that song was the first time we sat down and wrote something together like that, and it had been a long time since we did something like that. So when we put that song out, that was the one that got initially got a public reaction.
Yeah.
So when we played that song live, people would lose their shit, even if there was only 20 people there.
20 people is a lot of people for just some people.
That just set it just set some things in motion, and I just think our band kind of really became. We had just got a new guitar player. Like at first it was just me, Zach, Kevin, and Carlos, and then we had just somebody had heard a demo Kevin went to a Story So Far show in Ventura and was handing out demo CDs of a song we did called Long Term at Certain Sparks, a really just quick recording that was rough, and we didn't have any money to mix it, so we just did it rough, and he was handing it out to people. And some guy listened to it and was like, yeah, fuck it, and joined the band. So it felt like it was something that somebody wanted to be a part of. That's outside of the circle.
Yeah.
And then we wrote that song, and then we got a different bass player, and then we were it felt like we were a real band.
Wow.
And that's when I started really taking it seriously. So playing that at our we haven't played that song in 5 years.
Long term?
Yeah, Everest.
Okay.
We haven't played Everest in 5 years.
So what's the song about?
Kevin was getting ready. He was in a relationship with his high school sweetheart, and I think he was at a point. Long Term and Everest are pretty much about the same thing, just like a lot of our songs, relationship stuff. But Everest was him coming to conclusion that whatever that wasn't working anymore. And I think it was the first time he was really able to identify that feeling.
Yeah.
Because he was with that chick for 5 years.
Okay.
And throughout high school. And then they were living together. And Long Term and Everest are kind of about the same thing. And it's just, that song gave us our first tagline that we were able to put on merch.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be the part of the song where people would lose their shit, because the line is, you had my heart when you didn't deserve to. And people just went ape shit every time that part of the song came, because it's in the middle of the song, and then it ends with that.
Nice.
And in the studio, when we finally tracked it, we had everybody in the band and whoever was in the studio singing it too. So it
got
made
some gang vocals. Yeah.
And so it just makes it just made everything. That's when everything really came together, was that song. So we're playing that at this show. And that's going to be the most emotional moment for me, just because that's where it started, and now this is where it's ending. And
I almost want to ask where on the set list it's going to be, but I almost don't want an answer.
Everest is going to be in the last 3.
Oh shit! Kids! Don't say anymore. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for anyone. I don't want it spoiled for me anymore. Yeah. I'm really gonna do my best to be there.
Yeah.
To see it.
I hope you're there. It'll be fun, man.
I would love to be there. I totally intend to be there. Period.
Yeah. So
at my favorite bar with my favorite people.
Fuck, for real. Sham rules. So it's just gonna be a lot of emotion. And,
the Sham is going through its own changes as a bar and as its customer base and culture. And it's funny.
A renaissance kind of.
Almost.
It's not good yet, but
it's not good yet, but it's gonna be good again. Yeah. And you can tell it's on it's picking up slowly. It's almost like with each weekend it pulsates. Sometimes it's a deep heartbeat, sometimes it's a shallow heartbeat, sometimes it's all that's a lot of fun. I love the Sham. Even though I don't drink now, I'll still go hang out there from time to time. You know what? I haven't been drinking at least as much. I cut way back when I go there now, and I love it. I just fucking just sit there, shoot some pool, drink a beer maybe, you know, just keep it real cash. I don't ever see you hammered, so I don't really think you ever drink that much. I don't get drunk in public. Yeah. I don't get drunk in public anymore. And part of that is because of the pandemic, and I've just completely lost faith and trust in people. Yeah. And I want to have as much of my wits about me as I possibly can. Yeah. Which means sometimes sacrificing the amount of alcohol I can drink. And also, I'm a stingy fucker who doesn't want to spend money. Yeah. Get drunk at home, kids. Yeah. It's way cheaper. I'll get drunk at home, but, whatever. So I do hope you'll be there. I'll hang out. It'll be cool. And then, it'll be great. Yeah, it's going to be
I'm anticipating that there's going to be a good amount of people there. So it's going to be a big show. So wear masks if you want to or if you have to, and keep your wits about you. But it's really for me anyway, it's like the end of an era. This is with how this has felt and the way that I've been looking at it, it's like, okay, this is a chapter. This is my adolescence closing its book. Now I'm going on to a style of music that is different for the most part to Yearbooks. Yearbooks was a pop punk band, so we wrote about girls and being broke and relationships.
You're maturing and evolving, and with that comes new material and new experiences to write about. And it's fun to see how humans, make like what's the fucking word I'm looking for? Reconcile their adolescence with their adulthood. Yeah. And that relationship kind of affirming who you are as a person.
Yeah. And it's finally happening. It takes years, and I find it, and it's cool. It'll be cool, and if Good Grief album will probably be out hopefully by the end of the year. I'm actually supposed to have the first round of mixes for the entire record tomorrow.
Wow.
So, the record might be done tomorrow. It might be done in a month. But I think it will be out no later than mid-December. Before Christmas, the record will be out. So
this is an exciting time for you.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time
this is the new
incarnation.
It's just the new thing, and it's an exciting time to know you as well. The mustache.
I'm so happy for you, and I'm so happy about your sobriety.
Thanks. I really appreciate that.
It's so impressive, and I have a lot of respect and reverence for people who take personal responsibility for themselves and know when to say when, because I have lost friends to their own devices and don't know that they shouldn't be doing things that overindulge themselves.
Right. It's as simple as this. It comes down. I'm still newly sober, so it comes down to, in my experience, I was at a point, literally a crossroad. It was I either stop now and get a grip and at least try my hand at being sober and trying to put the bottle down and try to get better, because I didn't like who I turned into. I just was a red-faced drunk, and
look who you're turning into now, sober.
Just a man.
Just a fucking sexy bearded man with a, record on the way, and
yeah. Thank you. And then like I said, the other crossroad was just complete fucking. I literally was at a point with substance abuse that it was like, I'm either gonna stop now or I'm just gonna keep doing this. And if I keep doing this and I don't stop right now, I'm not gonna be able to stop. That's what it felt like. I know that sounds crazy. It
doesn't sound crazy, and I know there's people who are in those situations, and they need to hear what it feels like so they can identify it.
Right,
because I'm sure I got a lot of drunks listening.
Yeah, there's a lot. I feel like I lost some friends. I feel like
being sober.
I feel like my circle is shrank.
Sometimes that's a good thing.
It's not that I lost friends. I still, it's not like anything like that happened. I just know that I don't want to be anyone to judge anybody else, because I don't have a right.
Yeah.
And I'm still newly sober. I could fall off tomorrow. Who knows? But the plan now is to not do that. And I don't want to. It turns into not only having the compassion and respect and love for the other people around you, even if they're doing it too. But you have to remove yourself from familiar situations, because I think all habits and addictions and problems like that all spawn out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And you won't be able to succeed with anything if you don't get out of your comfort zone. And my comfort zone was drinking all the time.
I couldn't agree more.
And
I'm excited to do Sober October with you.
Yeah, dude. I did it last year. Or I did dry January.
Dry January.
And that was the longest up until now that I had gone. I made it 28 days. I didn't even make it the whole time.
That's okay. I do sober October, and then on Halloween is when I break it.
There you go.
Because I'm like, I'm sick of not having fun on Halloween. Fuck this.
Yeah. And there's nothing, like I said, there's nothing wrong with drinking. I'm not one person to judge. I just know that to my limit that I don't have a limit.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah, I don't have, everything in moderation. And that's a concept that even with a lot of other things, not even drinking, that I'm still trying to work out.
Yeah.
And, like I said, I've lost some friends who have taken their own life due to those devices. And if maybe it was something that could have been taken more seriously. And I think people, when you mix sensitivity with alcohol and you mix all of that with dark thoughts, it's really hard to get out of a place like that. And it's really hard for people to believe you. And it's one of those things where sometimes trying to save somebody's feelings, if you can see them in a situation where they're going to destroy themselves, is not worth keeping your mouth shut to protect them, because that's not going to protect them. And that sounds super dramatic or whatever, but it's true. Sometimes don't be afraid to say something if you see someone you care about really slipping, because I've had to do that even when I was drinking.
Would you rather something happen to them and you go, oh, I wish I would have said something. If only I would have said that one thing that I was thinking this whole time.
Right. Perfect example. Alice in Chains, Lane Staley.
Yeah.
Mike Starr, who used to play bass in Alice in Chains, he died a few years ago, but he went and saw Lane on his birthday, or it was on Mike Starr's birthday.
Yeah.
He went and saw Lane, which happened to be the day before Lane died.
Wow.
And he told Lane that he was going to call the cops in an ambulance and get him out of there and go put him in rehab, because Lane weighed like 90 pounds and was 6'2", and Lane was like, I'll never speak to you again if you do that. And either way, he never spoke to him again.
Wow.
So it's a real thing. And just because someone reaches out to you, and don't ever use the excuse, oh, you're just drunk, man, you're not meaning what you're saying. You're not going to do that. You're drunk. Go get some rest. Maybe not do that. Maybe take it seriously, because people do a lot of really stupid things when they're loaded.
They do. So. Well, Brett.
Enough about that, though.
Thank you for coming back to the Bad Etiquette podcast.
Thank you for having me. I don't think I said fuck as many times as last time.
I think we're a little more mature in our old age.
A little more maturity.
Got a little more articulation.
Articulation. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna go show Dallas the new Good Grief song,
and after that, I'll get out of your hair and let you have a life.
Well, thank you, Dallas. I appreciate it. I like talking to you, man.
I like you too, man. All right.